Hello, everybody. My name is Rich with Biamp, and today we're going to talk about your ALC series and updating your firmware to 1.9.0.14. So the new firmware update, versions that are not supported in the current release of ArmoníaPlus System Manager, which is the 1.4.1 now actually, the minimum required firmware for the ALC, the actual amplifier, the hardware, is currently 1.9.0.14. So any ALC amplifier with outdated firmware must be updated in order for it to work with the ArmoníaPlus software. All right. Firmware update 1.9.0.14. There's two options. Basically, ArmoníaPlus gives you different paths to get to the same solutions. So we're going to discuss option number 1 and option number 2. The first being working from the workspace and the match tab. And then the second option will take you directly to the system list and other devices tab, so you can accomplish the update. All right. Just as a first step, we just want to make sure that your ALC amplifier models, as well as the community speaker preset libraries, are downloaded from the ArmoníaPlus marketplace. If you do not have these downloaded, you won't be able to discover the amplifiers and you won't be able to download the speaker presets. Okay. So just take a first step, double check, make sure these are in place. Okay. From the marketplace menu. All right. Second thing we want to check is the network settings. We want to confirm that your network settings are active and you're able to connect to the amplifiers on the network. Okay, so you can check this by going to the communication manager under the preferences wheel and confirm that your interfaces are active. As a rule of thumb, turn the DHCP servers on before connecting to the ALC. The factory default network settings are DHCP Auto IP. All right, so if you guys have pre-configured settings on your network and your Ethernet adapters, you want to shut those off and just go to straight DHCP. This way the ArmoníaPlus software and the amplifiers can recognize themselves. Okay. All right, option 1 for updating the firmware. From the workspace tab, we're going to click on the match tab on the bottom to view the ALC amplifiers in the network. If there's an amplifier that does not have the current firmware, it will be highlighted in red, and you can see that from the exploded window. On the bottom of the window, it'll also note device has outdated firmware, click to upgrade. Updating the firmware. When you attempt to match or load the settings to a physical amplifier, it'll also prompt you that your network does not have the current firmware. And this is the message you'll get advising to update your device. When you click to upgrade on the bottom of the screen, the program will take you to the system list other devices screen. Select the device that needs to be updated. The update tab will become active. Okay. Click that tab and the firmware update process will begin. Final step, click the update tab. Okay. Once that starts to run, the firmware installation on each ALC, it'll automatically reboot, shut down, and temporarily restart the system. Okay, so if you're doing this, make sure your speakers aren't connected, make sure your input signals are muted. Okay, the firmware update will not affect any loudspeaker or user settings currently stored on the ALC hardware. All right, moving on to option number 2. Basically, option 1 and option number 2 are exactly the same, except that option 2 takes you directly to the system list tab. So you can directly go to the system list tab, click on other devices, and view the ALC amplifiers that are connected to the network. Again, if there's an amplifier that does not have the current firmware, the firmware version will be displayed in red, as you can see. We have one amplifier that has 1.09.14, and then we have 1.8.7.16. Obviously, that one needs to be updated. Okay, we're going to select update on that device. The update tab will become active, and then we're going to update the firmware. All right, so the final step in option 2 is the same step in option 1. Click the update tab. After the firmware is installed, the ALC again will automatically reboot. It'll shut down, it'll restart, and it'll come back online. And again, any of the firmware updates that we do will not affect any of the loudspeaker settings currently stored on the ALC. All right. If you have any questions or need any additional support, please do not hesitate to contact at support@biamp.com. I hope this helps. Again, my name is Rich. Have a fantastic day.